Hello all, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to discuss how to deal with difficult people because we all have them. And I myself can be that way. So I'm not innocent to being difficult. It exists within everyone. But at times, when we're feeling good, maybe we're having a good day, we may come across somebody that's difficult. We may interact with somebody that's being very difficult. And a good way for me to recognize how to really not let this person's behavior get the best of me is really to see that this person that's being difficult, I don't like, first of all, before I say anything, I don't like to call people difficult. I like to say that they're being difficult. But to say that someone is difficult is to say that they're always going to be difficult, that they always will be difficult, and that's not true. They're just within a difficult moment, and it's just bringing out the worst in them based on whatever circumstance or situation that occurred, and you just so happen to be at the end of that. People are really just being triggered. You're just a trigger towards their difficult behavior. You're not the culprit behind it. So with that being said, what I usually do is that I try to visualize this person as a child. That this person was once a little kid, just as much as the kid that you see walking down the street. Imagine that kid as an adult, being rude, being difficult, being whatever negative thing that we can say about that person, and really seeing that this person was once a little baby and once a little child. It helps for me to see that there's always a reason as to why they are being the way they are. There's always some sort of um, upbringing that they went through, that they experienced, some the sort of dysfunction, or maybe perhaps they were raised by difficult parents themselves, or just the life events that led them up to the adult that's in front of me. Is That's what's triggering them to be the way they are, whether they're conscious about it or not. It's really up to them. But for me, I just try to see other people as just little children, little kids with a whole story behind them, a whole backstory of experiences that molded them into the adult that's in front of me to this day. And when I do that, it helps me to be more forgiving of other people. It helps me to see that we all are kids inside. We all have an unhealed part of ourselves from our childhood that still exists within us, and we've somehow went through life being protective of that vulnerability, being protective of that trauma, whether that protective sort of coping skills are healthy or not. It's there. And some people develop unhealthy coping patterns. Some people develop very defensive coping patterns. But no matter what way we try to cope with life has a way of really showing whether our coping skills are really helping us or not. Because at the end of the day, when a person is rude to you or difficult, they have to live with that. They have to look back on their life and really see that, wow, I treated this person in a very rude or negative, difficult way. And they have to live with that sort of karma. They have to live with that choice. And it always reverts back to their trauma inside them. Just as much as when you treat somebody negatively, it's coming from inside you, from the unhealed part of you that it's still resonating, very much resident within you, that's gone unhealed. And in a sense, it can also help serve you because it brings to the surface what we often are ignorant about. Maybe we don't see that we have unhealed parts of ourselves that we need to heal until we make mistakes, until we become difficult ourselves, or when we're in the, the when we're in the presence of somebody that's being difficult. We may find more things about ourselves that are unhealed. But nevertheless, we all have an inner child within us that is still crying out love and compassion and understanding and guidance. And I try to see that in other people. I really try to see that in everyone, no matter how loving a person is. It's all coming from some source of hurt or pain that, you know, maybe they did heal it. Some of the most loving people can be the most healed people, also coming from the most painful experiences that they've learned to heal. But the people that are difficult, it's not that they want to be that way. Maybe they do, but it's not. I believe that it's not within us to want to really hurt and make life difficult for other people. I think it really is an unconscious part of ourselves that's just behaving in a way that's very defensive and very competitive, very combative, whatever. But it's not within us to choose and to really desire to want to do that. Unless it's some weird fetish for you, then that's something different. But for the most part, for most people, we really, I think we're not predators. You know, if you really look at our skin, if you really look at how fragile we are, we don't have claws, we don't have armor, shelling, we don't have, you know, a lot of weapons on us. We're really fragile human beings, fragile creatures, you know, and it's not within us to hurt one another, but yet we do it anyways. We do it because our upbringing has caused this sort of violent tendency, this aggressive tendency within us, this judgmental, negative, harsh tendency really comes from unhealed parts of ourselves. And when we really try to see that in other people, it may be difficult in the moment. You may be very reactive and want to just hurt the other person and want to get revenge and want to, you know, backlash at the other person. And I'm not entirely saying that that's completely wrong too, because sometimes we do need to, if somebody really is attempting to like physically hurt us, we do have to stand up for ourselves or for the people that they're hurting. But at the same time, we need to be more reflective and more introspective on what it is that we're doing, how we can be more centered within ourselves, so that our natural energy and natural aura exudes a more peaceful, you know, compassionate energy to calm people like that, you know, because it's really within us. We really have to learn to heal the inner child within us so that we can exude that sort of peaceful, compassionate energy on others and not have to be so forceful and things like that. I think the world would be a little bit better if we made that our pursuit rather than material things. We pursued how to be more centered within ourselves. But I think I'm going off track at this point. But that's just my take on how I deal with people that are being difficult. It takes one to know one, so I've been there. I know how it is. That's another way of dealing with difficult people, is realizing, hey, I've been there as well. So what goes around comes around, you know. But I mean, that's just pretty much it for this video. I hope you got something from it. Thank you so much for watching, and like always, I'll see you on the next